everybody, and welcome back. This is Maryam here, and today I'm going to be presenting to you one of my social studies projects on public statues. So first, I'm just going to explain to you a general idea of what a statue is and why they are important. What are statues? Statues are a way that we can express ourselves to the world and also share our ideas, opinions, and our creativity. Our intelligence is shown through the art we make, and that goes for not only statues but also any other type of art like music or dance or sketching or YouTube making or fashion, any different type of art that you feel you can express yourself in. Statues is just one way. What does the Muslim tradition say about statues, and if statues are important, how can Muslims use statues to inspire communities without ruining tradition? Muslims do not believe in idols as God, and we believe in the unseen of God. We disagree on praying to idols. Often pictures and also statues are avoided, as they can be mistaken for idols that people will worship. I think if some Muslims do not like statues and also pictures, they can do calligraphy instead to express themselves, but as long as we are not worshiping the pictures and the idols and the statues, then we should be all right to have that kind of art to express ourselves in the city and in our homes. So now I'm going to talk to you about the first statue that I did some research on, and this statue is called the Horsepower. And this right here is what the original Horsepower statue looks like. And then this here is an abstract art that I made of the horsepower with different colors. And instead of using wheels for the horsepower, I used clocks. And I turned the building that is in the horsepower statue upside down to make it look, instead of like a castle, more like a board. There's some Latin on the statue, so instead of Latin, I added my own type of language that I made. Okay, so now let me talk to you a little bit about this statue. So who is the artist of this horsepower? This is my favorite statue. Who is the artist of this? The artists of these are Bradley Golden and Lynn Eichenberg. They made the statue. For over 35 years, Brad has been making award-winning pieces of art. He is a graduate of Waterloo University and also York University. He is also the founder of a monthly radio program called Designers Talk. Lynn Eichenberg is a licensed architect who is also a graduate of Waterloo University with a bachelor's degree in agriculture. She loves art and land and also design. What was the artist's point in making your favorite statue? Now, I wasn't able to ask the artists what their point was, but I'm just making a guess and an estimate on what I think they tried to say when they were making this statue. The artist's point was maybe to show the amazing work people and also animals have done for the local community. The statue has wheels and represents a carriage or train's wheels. It also includes a steel and glass structured wall that includes pictures of different places and things people have built in parks, rinks, and more. The statue also has a marble green and white background. So I think the point of why the statue was made was to show each other how far we have come from the past. Obviously, there are still going to be problems in the world and we can't fix everything, but we have tried our best and have come a long way from what we were like in the past, and we have learned a lot more about how to help our community grow in the best of ways. So this statue kind of shows how we have improved our buildings and our structures and made things easier for people to access. My favorite statue is made of glass, iron, steel, and also aluminum, so it's a mix of a lot of different things and it's a really cool combination. So why was my favorite statue placed where it is? I think it's in the midst of town. I think it was placed there for people to see in public. It was also next to a community center, so everyone could see all the really wonderful work that we have done and just kind of encourage people to keep on building and making interesting things. Okay, so the next statue that I studied on was Queen Victoria statue, which is in a very central public park known as Victoria Park, and it's actually named after the Queen. So I went a little bit deeper than just the Queen. I also wanted to learn about Abdul Karim, her Urdu teacher, and the person who was also her servant and one of her topmost helpers in where she lived and helped her a lot through the years. Abdul Karim taught Queen Victoria Urdu for 14 years of her reign, working as her servant. So he taught her the last years that she was alive, and they were very close. Abdul was born as the son of a hospital assistant in British India. He was one of 2 Indians selected to be servants to Queen Victoria. He lived from 1863 to April 1909. Abdullah means servant of God. He was born in a Muslim family, and he had an older brother and 4 smaller sisters. he privately taught Urdu and Persian, not only to the Queen, but to other children and a lot of other people before the Queen. As a teen, he traveled across North India and into Afghanistan. He had a close relationship with Queen Victoria, but that led to friction with other servants, as they felt that Abdul was higher to Queen Victoria than they were, so they were a little bit jealous of Abdul all his years of work, because they also wanted to be able to be as close as Abdul was to the Queen, and they felt a little bit jealous that they were not able to be as close to the Queen as he was. Queen Victoria insisted on taking him with her on all her travels, which caused arguments between her and the other servants because, again, the other servants also wanted to be able to go on her travels, but she only wanted to take him, no one else. When Queen Victoria died, she left Abdul a land and a house where he lived until he was 46, and she left him space for his family and his kids and his whole family. So Queen Victoria's real name was Alexandrina Victoria. Not Alexandria, but Alexandrina Victoria, which is the cool name. She was not only the Queen of Britain, but also of Ireland from June 20, 1837, until she died. She was also the Empress of India. She was raised under close supervision by her mother and father, and she inherited the throne at the age of just 18 after her 3 big brothers passed away. So she had to wait for her 3 big brothers to pass away before she got the role of being the queen, so she had to wait quite a while. She married her first cousin, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, in 1840, and their children married into royal and noble families across the continent. After her husband Albert's death in 1861, Victoria went into a deep state of grief. Queen Victoria felt very close to Abdul and called him Munshi, and that's what he then became known as, and Munshi means teacher because he started teaching her Urdu. He was appointed as her Indian secretary, and she honored him with many gifts. Abdul lived from 1863 to 1909 and died from a contagious disease. Many times, Queen Victoria complimented Abdul, saying, "He's so intelligent and useful." When anyone complained to Queen Victoria about Abdul, she refused to believe any of it, and she felt like Abdul was one of the closest people that she had ever been as close to. So now here's my opinion a little bit on Queen Victoria and how I feel about her. I think that I feel as though I would have liked Queen Victoria's spirit overall, though it's also very hard to understand why she put Pakistanis through so much struggle, and I am not positive if she was decent to everyone or just those she could get things from. But I didn't know her, so I'm not making any assumptions. Pakistanis were forced to make their own place, and the British didn't treat them well, so maybe that's because of Queen Victoria, I don't know. But it is interesting to think she hurt one side of my family, but not the other side, and was still seemed like a very decent person to Abdul, and she seemed like a compassionate person, so she may have gone through struggles that I don't know of. It's very cool that Queen Victoria was interested in one of the languages that I speak, and she took the time to learn it better to understand her servants. As she's known as a tough person and also hefty, she was maybe hurt by the fact that not everyone thought she was pretty. I understand how she feels in a different way, as being in school has taught me that not everyone is nice. So it's relieving to know that even a queen, a very high person, can be bullied by others and still feel a lot of hurt. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And please don't forget, if you have any questions, to comment them down below and subscribe to our channel, like this video, and press the notification bell to all. So thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day.
I have a couple of questions. A question about your abstract drawing.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you chose to make the wheels of the horsepower statue into wheels that also resemble clocks. Was there a reason why you chose to use clocks? Do they symbolize anything or represent anything?
No, I just felt like they looked kind of like the same thing. And also because wheels are a way of transportation, and transportation can take some time sometimes. So it is kind of like wheels transport and clocks, they take time, so traveling and time is kind of connected. So I wanted to make it like clocks.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Where does Queen Victoria live?
Queen Victoria, she lived in England. But she also went to go visit a lot of like other places, like she traveled around. Yeah.
So Queen Victoria's statue, when was it placed in Victoria Park? Do you know?
No. I should
And
look it up. But I don't know.
the reason I ask is because Kitchener is known as notoriously being a German city, with mostly German population, especially in those days.
Yeah.
Why do you think a statue of an English queen
Yeah.
was placed in the middle of a park named after her in a city that was made up of predominantly German people. Do you think, what's your thoughts on that?
Like, why was her statue placed in Victoria Park? Maybe because she was a high person who was very high, and Canada, like, it's kind of related to the British somehow. Like, I mean, we have communication with the British. We used to, I'm sure. So that's probably why her statue is placed here. And it's also an important, like, memory to know, to keep in a central park. Like, she's a queen, and she was a ruler of a lot of countries. So.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.